we saw the Kansas City Chiefs upset the Baltimore Ravens 17-10, and we saw the San Francisco 49ers rally from 24-7 down to defeat the Detroit Lions 34-31. Evan?
Yeah, so I just want to go over some big moments. We've got some questions coming up, but the first thing I really want to go over is Dan Campbell's decision making. So obviously, in the third and the fourth quarter, when the Lions had the lead, it got interesting. A lot of people, I think there's tons of factors why the Lions lost. I think they choked all around. We'll get into that in a little bit, but just on the decision making, the first time going for it on fourth down and the second time going for it on fourth down, do we agree? I'll go first on this one. I disagree with the first call completely. I think that was a horrible call. I think that changed because you got to look at momentum. Momentum is a real thing. So I was thinking when the Lions were driving, it was like midway through the third quarter, 24-10. It looks like they're going to get 31-10. They don't. They get stopped on fourth down. But you got to go up three scores. That keeps the momentum. That keeps the 49ers. It's like, we got 20 minutes and we got to score three scores, and we can't stop the Lions at all. It's looking pretty bleak for the Niners to even win this game. But then you go for on fourth and three. Yes, I know the ball hits Reynolds right in the hands. He should catch it. But still, man, that is risky. And it did not pay off. So I completely disagree with the first call. I don't think there's any way you could have made that work. The second play call, when they were down 27-24, they could have kicked the field goal to tie it up. That one I kind of understand because you're in San Francisco. It's the playoffs. You're halfway through the fourth quarter. There's no, the 49ers could just get the ball and steam right down the field. There's no guarantee you're going to get it back or whatever with Chris McCaffrey. I kind of understand that, but just an awful play call. I don't know if that was Johnson calling the play calls or whatever. On something like that, you want something quick. You want a slant pass, or you want maybe just like a kind of like a motion. You fake one guy, you get maybe a tight end in the flat. A 10-yard play action pass didn't make sense. So overall, I kind of understand the second one. Just was a terrible play call. So just bad all around, I think. But Jake, what'd you think about Campbell's decision making?
Nah, I don't like that they went for either fourth down, especially the second one. I feel like they could have just kicked the field goal. Their defense had to come and play, but I feel like if they kicked the field goal, that would have increased the chances of it going to overtime. So I feel like, you will take that if anything.
Sure.
So, so the fourth down when they were in field goal range and it was I believe 4th and 3. You got to take the points. Evan mentioned that momentum's a real thing. Obviously, you go for it on fourth down, get stopped. You give the 49ers all the momentum in the world. They capitalize on it, go from 24-10 down to 31-24 up, or 27-24, I believe it was. So that's just horrible decision on Dan Campbell. You give the 49ers all the momentum in the world in the NFC Championship game at home with the crowd going nuts.
Yeah. I agree with both of you. I just think, yeah, there's no way to really spend that well. Let's go to best player. Who was the best player of the week? I'll start with this. I think it was Travis Kelce. I think you could have said that for the divisional round too. Because it was actually a low scoring game in Baltimore, right? We weren't expecting that. Might have been a little bit of rain. Not that should stop offenses, but it was 17. What was it? 17-10? You wouldn't expect that, right? The Chiefs didn't really score all throughout the second half. But the big thing was Kelce was getting open in the first half against a really good Ravens defense. And just the Ravens weren't doing anything. But I think Kelce is the biggest player, but or the best player. I would also say I know he's not a player, but Steve Spagnuolo. Also just, man, what a great defensive game plan. Ravens for sure made some mistakes, but just timely blitzes like I was talking about last week, they continue to get it done. So best player is Kelce, but I'll also say Spagnuolo, even though he's not a player. Jake, what you got?
Yeah, I got Travis Kelce too. Travis Kelce just continued to get open against the Ravens. Caught a lot of passes. He scored a touchdown in that game. I think that Jordan was talking about this in an earlier topic. Oh, reliable. You can always throw the ball his way. He's gonna make a play on it. And yeah. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to mention one thing. I had Isaiah Pacheco as an anytime touchdown in this game, and that was the easiest catch ever.
I wouldn't call that the easiest because they only caught. I know he scored early, but they only scored 17 points. What if it wasn't him? Then you would have been sweating that the entire way. But Jordan, what you got? Best player of the weekend?
Thought it was Brock Purdy. And
Oh, yeah.
to be down 24-7 in the AFC Championship game and bring your team back. I know I mentioned this. He's got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle as his weapons, but we saw him extend plays with his legs. There was a third down where it was crucial that he picked it up, and he did with his legs. So Brock Purdy to me was the conference championship weekend MVP.
All right, I had two more categories left. For time reasons, we'll do one more. I wanted to get one good one in there. So let's talk about one bad one. Let's talk about worst mistake. There is a lot of contenders for this. It boiled down to two for me. I think Lamar Jackson in his 6th year in the NFL, you can't the interception in the fourth quarter, you can't throw it. Yes, maybe it was pass interference. Sure. You can't throw that into triple coverage. There's just, that's just a terrible throw. I know the one with Flowers where he reached the end zone, that will happen a lot, where he's not saying he should have done it, but you reach the end zone, he fumbles. That will happen a lot. But the Lamar was you can't make that. You can't throw it in triple coverage. But I'm not even going to go with that one. I'm going to go with the Jahmyr Gibbs fumble. I believe it was the first play they got it back. It was 24-7. You still have somewhat momentum because you're winning by a touchdown, even though the 49ers got a quick score. To fumble on that, like the first play, that was the worst mistake by far. I thought deep down as soon as he fumbled that ball, even though the 49ers were still down 7, I thought that was game. I thought the Niners were going to win, and they did. So worst mistake, I'm going to go Gibbs fumble. Jake, what you got?
Mine was Dan Campbell going for it on second down. I think, like I mentioned earlier, just kick the field goal, give your defense a chance to stop the 49ers, give them a chance to send the game to overtime.
Any particular fourth down, the first or second, or just both?
Second one.
Second one. Jordan.
I'm gonna go with. I actually have mistakes in both games here. Let me start with the Lions. They ran the football for 140 something yards in the first half. How are you going to run the ball only 8 times in the second half? And then for the Ravens, the game plan was not there. We saw all year the Ravens were the #1 rushing team in the NFL, and they went away from that. When Kansas City played a dime package, which is of course 6 DBs, they still threw the ball. And to me, that's just on Todd Monken for not coming up with that game plan. The Ravens should have ran the ball a whole lot more than they did.
Hi, Ariana, by the way. I did not know that about the Lions. I think they really panicked. The Lions really did panic. They got away from their game plan. They started dropping balls. That's expected the first time in the championship game, but man, that is what a choke by the Lions.
That's absolutely insane. The Lions let America down.
They did, because now nobody wants to watch the Super Bowl, even though they all will. I guarantee most of them will. Maybe some really.
Most people will.
I can promise you people will watch the Super Bowl because it's the Super Bowl.